Welcome to another installment of Deconstructing Babylon, where we discern the signs and symbols of the mystery religion of Hollywood Babylon. I'm the Discerning Clerk, and I use a biblical framework to deconstruct my favorite movies and your recommendations. I recently passed the 2-year anniversary of starting this channel, and I feel like I've come a long way. This was actually the time limit I gave myself for monetization, and I obviously haven't met that criteria yet. It is still a goal I have for this space, but it's not as important to me, because I never started this to make money. I only ever wanted to expose the lies in the film industry, the lies and agendas they've been embedding in film and entertainment since its inception. And, of course, point us back to the truth found in God's Word. Now I don't get discouraged by the slow growth and low reviews, though I used to. I am exceedingly grateful for the authentic audience that continues to show up. I thank the Most High every day for each person who clicks on this channel, for his gracious and enduring faithfulness to us all. Now, onto the feature. As you know, today we are looking at the animated/live-action hybrid murder mystery, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Have you ever had the experience of watching a movie as a child and then again as an adult realizing it wasn't entirely appropriate for a younger audience? I'm pretty sure my parents allowed me to watch this because of the cartoon element, but it is still my assertion that cartoons were not originally made for children, but that animators and filmmakers learned that they could use them to hide more messaging, like a Trojan horse to infiltrate the minds of children. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was released in 1988 and receives 4.5 stars from the Video Movie Guide. It also won 4 Academy Awards for editing and special effects. This fact alone should raise red flags for us. In this innovative and vastly entertaining motion picture, which seamlessly blends animated characters with live action, cartoon character Roger Rabbit, voiced by Charles Fleischer, is accused of murder and turns to a hard-boiled private detective, Bob Hoskins, for help. As with his Back to the Future and Romancing the Stone, director Robert Zemeckis has come up with a wonderful movie for all ages, rated PG. See how they promote this as a family film? I wouldn't let my younger children watch this, but we're all adults here, so let's see what they show us in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The movie starts with a maroon cartoon short featuring Roger Rabbit and baby Herman. The premise of the animated show is that Roger is meant to babysit Herman, while Herman is determined to secure a cookie and risks his life with every move.
Why, I'll take care of him like he was my own brother, or my own sister. Ow!
In the kitchen, with the black and white checkerboard floor, tell me what time you think is on the clock. Does it look like 9/11 to you? This is already almost too much duality, and the real movie hasn't even officially started. We quickly learn this slapstick scene of physical comedy is a set, and Roger and Herman are working actors.
This Roger, he keeps blowing his lines.
On set, behind the scenes, is the hard-boiled private detective, Eddie Valiant. He makes his way to the executive producer, R.K. Maroon, and we learn we're in Hollywood in 1947. R.K. wants to hire Eddie to follow Roger's wife, Jessica, and get evidence that she's cheating on him. He hopes this will help Roger move on and get his mind back to work.
The job's gonna cost you $100, plus expenses.
$100?
The inflation calculator tells me that $100 in 1947 would be worth almost $1,500 today. Eddie reluctantly takes the job because he needs the money. As it stands, he can't even afford to take the trolley. This was an electric-powered bus that ran on rails, and we learn the public transportation company has been bought out by a big corporation called Cloverleaf.
A new outfit bought the red car. Some big company called Cloverleaf.
No kidding. They bought the red car?
Eddie may be a functioning alcoholic, and he always finds the money to drink. His girlfriend Dolores tends bar across the street from his office apartment, and she puts up with a lot. Eddie gets pretty worked up at the idea of working with tunes, but like I said, he really needs the money.
So what's his problem?
Toon killed his brother.
What? Huh?
Dropped the piano on his head.
So that's why he drinks, why he's broke, and why he hates tunes. The piano as a weapon is interesting symbolism, as we recognize the piano as a symbol of duality. Eddie begins his investigation into Jessica Rabbit by going to a nightclub where all the staff are tunes and all the patrons are humans. On stage, Donald Duck and Daffy Duck are playing dueling pianos, one white and one black.
This means war.
At the club, Eddie meets Marvin Acme, the self-proclaimed gag king who owns Toontown, the animated city where all the cartoon characters live. After the dueling dual ducks, the main attraction takes the stage, the sexy, alluring Jessica Rabbit.
She's married to Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, what a lucky girl.
Eddie's on the case when he catches Marvin Acme in Jessica's dressing room and gets the photographic evidence R.K. Maroon paid him for. This revelation is devastating to Roger.
Take comfort, son. You're not the first man whose wife played patty cake on him.
Eddie's job is done, and he returns to the office he previously shared with his brother. Eddie keeps his brother's desk intact, all his items covered in a thick blanket of dust, and articles of their successful time together as detectives. Via framed photos, we learn their father was a traveling clown with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. This is such a brief reference, but the clown is another important yet demonic symbol. Much like cartoons themselves, we've been made to believe that clowns are child-appropriate performers, but they are anything but. The plot thickens for Eddie when Marvin Acme shows up dead the next day, and Roger is the #1 suspect for his murder.
Just like a tune to drop a safe in a guy's head.
At the crime scene, we meet the ominous, villainous Judge Doom. No one questions why a judge is at the scene of a crime, or why he brings his own investigators, infringing on the jurisdiction of the actual police. The weasels that work for Judge Doom all look like mafioso for some reason.
Since I've had Toontown under my jurisdiction, my goal has been to rein in the insanity, and the only way to do that is to make Toons respect the law.
Since Toons can't really be killed by conventional methods, Judge Doom reveals a creation of his own making he calls the Dip. Baby Herman visits Eddie and tells him that Marvin Acme was killed for his ownership of Toontown, and not a crime of passion at the hands of a betrayed rabbit. Acme promised the Toons that he would bequeath Toontown to them.
He promised to leave Toontown to us Toons. That will is the reason he got bumped off.
Has anybody ever seen this will?
No, but he gave us his solemn oath.
Sure enough, Eddie sees in the pictures he took that Acme had his last will and testament on him with Jessica, right before he was killed. Eddie also quickly learns that the fugitive Roger Rabbit is hiding out in his office/apartment.
Everybody knows when a Toon's in trouble, there's only one place to go. Valiant and Valiant.
Roger wants to hire Eddie to find out who framed him for murder, but Eddie doesn't work for Toons anymore. Eddie stashes Roger at Dolores' bar in a speakeasy while Eddie looks into the case, until Jessica pays him a visit and they show us some mirror symbolism with the red-haired bombshell and the shirtless PI.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Jessica tells Eddie that R.K. Maroon set up the pictures between her and Acme, blackmailing her with Roger's career. Eddie already believes Maroon set him up and that he killed Acme in order to take over Toontown.
Maroon's not after Toontown like you thought. It's Cloverleaf that wants to get their hands on Toontown. They put in the highest bid.
Remember, Cloverleaf is the big corporation that bought the public transportation system. Meanwhile, Roger isn't exactly laying low, despite being a fugitive, and Judge Doom with the Weasels come to the bar to find him.
Right now, I feel like dispensing some justice.
Eddie thinks quickly, and he and Roger get away. At the same time, they rescue another captured Toon, a taxi cab named Benny. Have you ever noticed that taxis have a checkerboard pattern on the side? I wonder why that is. The Weasels pursue Eddie and the Toons, and 2 uniforms join in the chase. They evade capture, of course, and Eddie and Roger hide out in a movie theater, where Eddie tells Roger about his brother's death and the Toon that killed him.
Him standing over me laughing, with those burning red eyes, and that high squeaky voice.
Eddie then discovers a connection between R.K. Maroon and Cloverleaf, so he goes to confront Maroon.
A story of greed, sex, and murder. And the parts that I don't like, I'm gonna edit out.
But before Maroon can answer Eddie's questions, a mystery shooter kills him and tries to take out Eddie as well. He pursues the shooter just to the entrance of Toontown, where he vowed never to return. But things are changing for Eddie. He even pours out his liquor, and then drives directly into Toontown.
Have a good day, sir.
He's trying to track down Jessica Rabbit, who he believes is the shooter, but he finds her manic doppelganger, Lena Hyena. When he finds Jessica, She stops the real shooter.
That's the gun that killed R.K. Maroon, and Doom pulled the trigger.
Jessica tells Eddie that Doom wants total control of Toontown, and so Doom takes them to the Acme factory, probably to kill them. Roger finally shows up and teams up with Benny the Taxi to go after them. Doom reveals his plan, and it's not total control, it's total annihilation of Toontown, with plans to build a super freeway in its place.
So that's why you killed Acme and Maroon? For this freeway?
When Roger interrupts, Doom ties the married Toons together and plans to spray them with the deadly dip. Not sure what his plan is for Eddie, but Eddie plans to dispense with the weasels. Since weapons won't work, Eddie gets them so hysterical until, one by one, they die laughing.
He's lost his mind.
I don't think so.
They also appear as angels and descend upward after they die, which is fascinating. Besides, I thought Toons couldn't die unless they were dipped. Doom and Eddie get into a final fight until Doom's true identity is revealed.
Holy smoke, he's a Toon!
He's not just any Toon. He's the Toon who killed Eddie's brother. Doom has swords coming out of his eyes and all manner of golden tools to maim and harm Eddie, until Doom is finally taken out by his own deadly creation, which has the same hue as Disney villain green. Eddie then washes away the lake of dip, and all is well.
Jeepers, Eddie, that was a close save.
The police arrive with Benny the Taxi and Dolores, with all the evidence they need to exonerate Roger. And Eddie learns he had Acme's last will and testament all along, and the Toons do, in fact, inherit Toontown.
Come on, Roger, let's go home. I'll bake you a carrot cake.
The final image is Porky Pig from Warner Brothers, giving his typical farewell, and Tinkerbell from Disney, giving him fairy dust. Yeah, that was in no way an appropriate movie for children. This is through and through plot, innuendo, and character development meant for adults. But that's fine. What does it all mean? That's why we're here. Clear symbols of duality, including checkerboards and pianos, but that didn't really seem to be the point at all. It was just an homage to the secret societies that Disney and Warner Brothers were a part of. In the Pretty Woman deconstruction, I brought up the white gloves. In this movie, Roger wore yellow gloves, but Maroon Cartoons is a fictional studio. Roger Rabbit, Baby Herman, Benny the Cab, and Jessica were all created just for this film. Yet they included characters from both Disney Animation and Warner Brothers, which they clearly had the rights to. But a lot of these characters wear white gloves. Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Goofy, Sylvester, Donald Duck, Marvin the Martian. Now we know those animations are just drawings, and maybe that's why they created the fictional studio. Because the animations in Maroon Cartoons are actors. They live and breathe and marry and potentially have children, but they can't die. They live in a place called Toontown that seems to also house the characters that are drawn. This makes them all abominations, giving us the impression that they are living creatures with a soul, but are immortal. Toontown is a lawless place, except for Judge Doom and his weasel enforcers. Now, if you've been around my channel for any length of time, you may already know what I'm going to say about these enforcers of the law. We were told that cartoons couldn't die, but the weasels didn't go into the dip. They all died by happenstance while laughing, as was prophesied over them several times. And when they died, they ascended like angels up to heaven. But if they were the bad guys, why is that? Well, I believe they are representatives of the Most High, the rightful judge, here presented as a villain, as Hollywood loves to do. Judge Doom is God? Clerk, you must have lost your mind, you may be saying. Just hear me out. He doesn't hate the Toons, as he is one of them. He appears as human and seems to have absolute authority. He is the majority shareholder of Cloverleaf, the corporation that bought out the Red Car and Acme products. He dispenses justice as he sees fit, and he desires a beautiful, innovative future for humanity. He deems that the abominations in Toontown stand in the way, and has every right in his mind to destroy it completely. He seems cruel and harsh because that is how the world and the enemy view the Most High. And that is how he is portrayed by villainous characters in movies. It's even how the evangelical church describes the God of the Old Testament. Eddie Valiant is a typical anti-hero, but his last name is meant to evoke hope and sympathy. He is meant to rise to the occasion of his name, and perhaps he does, but he does almost by accident. Eddie is a drunk and everyone knows it. His father was a clown. He holds a grudge against cartoons until it seems all is forgiven, or he dispenses his own justice. Valiant implies bravery and noble, but Eddie doesn't have those characteristics. Finally, Roger and Jessica, perhaps the only dual pair besides the dueling ducks. Roger is silly while Jessica is sexy. Roger is an animal while Jessica is a person. They both wear red. They both wear gloves. They both disarm people in different ways. And the red-haired siren always has one eye covered. If you know, you know. Okay, that's enough for this one. Thank you for enduring to the end. Give the video a thumbs up if you agree and a thumbs down if you disagree. Comment below what you think I missed with this one and to suggest any movie you'd think I should deconstruct in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this, but don't follow me. Follow the one who saves you. And until next time, keep looking up.
How much do you know about show business, Mr. Valiant?
Only there's no business like it. No business I know.